because we finally lost
Well,
the thing.
it's your own fault because you waffled for 2 minutes while I was trying to make that segue.
Oh, wow. Well,
Called out. So yes, all right. Let's go through the ban phase and we can look at that in a second, I suppose. There we go.
looks like Specker is enjoying himself a little bit. Not sure what Avant are going to do with that. Luna's happy with it. Avant banning out Jackal, exact same as what they banned out yesterday against Fnatic on this map. Good way to really control the roamers. In fact, I believe that's what the 4th Jackal ban on Coastline I've seen recently. With just the other day also, I saw it banned out by Darkseid against Evil Genius in the North American Pro League, but it's for Darkseid's ban. They're getting rid of the Montaigne.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting, isn't it? It's not an operator we see banned out too much. Of course, it's a very strat-dependent operator, isn't it?
Yes. Typically, you'll have a team which is renowned for playing a lot of Montaigne, and that's when you have a camp ban against it. Teams like Mantis FPS, teams like Airwolf often get the Monty banned against them, but I hadn't expected that Avant were a particularly Montaigne-heavy map. Nonetheless, that's taken off the table. And as we see, Echo and Mira, the final bans.
Yes, I was going to mention that as well. I didn't actually have to change them, the bans, because it's some pretty stock standard bans we see on the reg, isn't it, Dev? Like, it's Mirror ban, no surprise. Echo ban, once again, no surprise. So, no changes for me, and yeah, we're ready to head into the first round. Looks like we're going to be going to Hookah and Billiards to kick things off here. Maybe not completely typical, but it is a bomb site we have seen quite a lot of. Great thing about Coastline, there's so much variability in the bomb sites, and each and every one of them are completely viable. Some maybe a little bit more difficult than others, but if you've got the strategies and the aggression that's needed, and I believe that that's what Avant will be bringing to the table here on Hookah, I expect a stronghold from Avant. Yeah, it's definitely one we've been seeing some setup downstairs in Blue Bar below, becoming the pivotal part of the map, because the standard plant spot, like right behind the bomb, well, right near where Luna is right now, the floor will get completely opened up, and you know they'll want defenders below there to deny any plant. It's something that Darkseid have been using a lot. So pretty much the first step, or like, you know, before you start your push into the bomb site, if that's the push you're going for, we can see Vicious doing that right now, is clear out below before you even think about going for a plant.
10 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. It's a strategy we see often played out, and sometimes it is someone with the cheeky C4 from below that often makes a difference. Fisher guy from Avant does have one in his pocket he could use in the late round from below, and Luna as well.
Yeah, so Fisher... sorry, I was just going to say, we've been seeing him play a lot of Mute with the shotgun and SMG-11 now that Mute's had that buff, haven't we?
Yeah, and it's great. It's a great operator loadout to have. It's not something we didn't see quite as much of in terms of on a roaming operator previously, because it was on Smoke, who just has this, you know, essential anchoring utility. So it's great to see that we do have now that flexibility to see that the shotgun and SMG combination on a roamer.
Yeah, not to mention the ability to make those holes with the shotguns and help set up on site, rather than you know, have to rely on your Smoke or a Mirror with her shotgun, of course. But it looks like we're going to see a Darkseid clear from the east-hand side of the map, taking control of the theatre and master bedroom area.
Avant really seemed to be keen on disrupting Darkseid's drones, but it hasn't worked too effectively. Fisher, what are you doing? Fisher, you've seen the drones. Surely you're aware of this, but no. I think that was a huge blunder from Fisher guy, and well, Copper's decided he's not in a position to refrag, and he retreats back. These Mute Jammers and the Vigil Scanner both trying to deny these drones, but so far, it's not actually made much benefit for Avant.
Yeah, I really feel like Fisher should have been a lot more ready for that. Now we've got that shotgun and that SMG-11 off the board. And that's a run out from Copper, but he can't quite land his shots. And he's going to have to make his way back inside. Specker wants to cut off this... cut him back off and gets the shots. You know, I have no idea how that landed either, Dev Marta, but just like that, it's a 5-on-3 with the man advantage in Darkseid's favour.
All right, well, Darkseided now, pressing on forward. Significant man advantage, and well, Specker will likely need a reset, but maybe not too essential for the Zephyr. Thermite charges from QD being utilized to open up that default wall from VIP. Gaining a lot of angles into the bomb site. Now Cutie's reassured that with the drone. Luna, though, finds the first kill for her side before being immediately traded back by the IQ. 2 players left on this defense to find 4 attackers with 40 seconds. Oh, that's just a defender body. Flossie lands, I believe, a shot, but nothing as a killing blow as yet. Vicious and Flossie both under a lot of pressure. And now Vicious, the last man alive, but he won't last at all. Shaq taking him down for the first round on Darksided.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there from Darksided, of course, going 2 people up nice and early on. Really makes the round pretty much guaranteed to go into your favour. We don't see rounds brought back from a deficit too often, of course. But I think Avant really not ready for the entry at a minute. Like, it seems like that was a big misplay to kick things off there by Fisho, and then Copper just missing his shots on the run out. Either. That's the round going for Darksided, and you know, they're not going to be too unhappy about it just yet. Specker landed a nice shot on the Copper though, didn't he?
I feel like that really shouldn't have happened, but I'm sure Speck will take it happily. Copper, though, I mean, he made a mistake to get himself into that position by screwing up on his run out, and I think that's really the thing about that round for Avant. Lots of little individual mistakes, kicking it off with Fisho making a huge blunder, unaware of the attackers entering the building, and well, when Darksided had gained a couple of those picks, it was too easy for them to just continue on to the side.
What's interesting to me is they've decided to change up their bomb site straight away, not planning on giving it another go at all.
I don't mind that. I mean, I know that the general statement that we like to talk about is 2 and move, but 1 and move sometimes nice and good, especially if you're kicking off a new map on a new, sorry. 10 seconds left. Yeah, new map. So, like, you know, first, second round of the map, and you're on a map with as many bomb sites viable as we have here on Coastline. I don't see any issue with switching it up. So,
yeah, but you have to feel like, you know, there is no issue in switching it up at all. But you know, it's the round that they lost just then. It wasn't because of, you know, Darksided just completely demolished their defense. It was because they lost in the early stages of the round, and then it was just a matter of trading, which Darksided managed to do with only losing 1 player.
Yeah, now moving into this round, Darksided maybe taking a little bit of time on this push forward. Specker, can you just stop for like 2 seconds?
Can we,
2 seconds.
Not spectate Specker before I throw up? No,
it's a legitimate strategy. It's just not a great strategy to watch. And here's an even better one.
Look over the top of your scope.
Yeah, Specker, he's a madman, and we know him for it. Droning in now, Darksided also pressing with their initial entries. Jack Daddy doing a good job on the IQ so far, and as he takes down another mute jammer, I really have to say it doesn't feel like these Avant mute jammers are having any effect whatsoever on the clearing from Darksided.
It really feels like Avant are playing a bit too passive, just giving way too much map control over to Darksided, in my opinion. I think we did see a miss C4 through the floor, so that was the early play. But look, we've got Darksided already inside the area on top of their bomb site, and you know, Darksided getting ready to start raining down Hellfire, and there we go. Shaq's going to kick it off onto Flossie.
Once again, the first kill going the way of Darksided. We'll see whether these roamers can have any impact. At the moment, it's some of the players nearer to site that are toying with these angles. Breaching charges allowing for some vertical angles to be utilized by the style. And still very cautious of these late flanks as well. I think that's a good read into the Avant playstyle. A lot of the time it is about trading, refragging, and moving around with these positions and taking these gunfights on flanks. Trying to use that positioning to gain kills. And good read from Darksided to watch those flanks.
Yeah, hippie style trying to find some joy from above, but hasn't really found anything. We got Shaq. He's watching a Claymore on the flank. Like, surely you feel like there's a Claymore there. He could be joining in, and Jack Daddy, he's going to look away at just the last second, and Vicious is going to get his way past. This Copper from the flank is going to find Specker, so that's him shut down and out of the round. And an even man count, and Vicious with a team kill, and Cutie to follow it on up. Jack Daddy also to find that one onto Copper, just leaving it all up to Luna in the 1-on-4. Avant, they are in shambles to kick things off here.
Still, there's not much time remaining. Luna only has to deny this plant. She's on the wrong side of the bomb site currently, and it's going to be very difficult to force her way through all of these defenders in this first duel. Lands maybe a shot into Jack Dad, but she's now being hunted by the entire side of Darksided, which is taken down. Darksided for 2 straight attacking rounds.
Alright, so there we go. And it is going to be Darksided. I don't think they're doing anything special. It really looks like Avant have just not came to play yet. These first 2 rounds, they look like they haven't been ready at all.
No, and with Avant performing so well against Fnatic just last night on this map, really does beg the question, is this some kind of counter strategy coming out from Darksided, or is it perhaps that Avant just weren't even playing? I don't know, was it that
I think it's back to the little
well
mistakes.
So what can you say for Avant? What if you were their coach right now and you had an attack timeout, what would you be saying into the ears of these players?
I'd say, you know, just pull your head in, guys. We've just had a few rounds where things just have not gone our way, but, you know, try them again and, you know, they might go the other way. So, you know, don't let it get you down. Like, you know, the team kill to kick things off, you know, Fisho guy not paying attention in the very first round, Popper missing his shots. Like, those things, they're not going to happen every round unless, well, unless things are going really, really badly.
Well, once again, switching up the bomb sites. 3 different rounds. The defensive now taken, and every time a different bomb site. Now it's Penthouse and Theatre, what was typically the primary bomb site for a very long time, and the castle barricades being utilized, as well as a lot of rotations into VIP from various nearby hallways. This is really the meta that has come about recently, putting your dock inside of VIP, getting a lot of angles and rotations. Copper on a very long run out, but will he be spotted out? It's only a pre-fire. He's detected for a very long time, but does get away with his life.
Yeah, they've got both Rook and Doc, of course, plus the ACOG on Luna's Maestro. So, looks like Avant really want to be large and in charge up here on the top floor.
My. Flossy with the M1014.
It's
I
not
like what I
something
see here.
every
this
day.
is, yeah, probably one of the least seen shotguns in the game. Maybe just next to the ITAL, which is Mira's primary shotgun. Nonetheless, ooh, Specker does potentially spot out Fisho guy inside of VIP. As you said, the 2 GIGN thick boys at the moment, playing with their ACOGs on these low angles. Oh, Fisho guy, what a shot there onto Jack Daddy. Beautiful stuff, and that's 1 more player down for Darksided. For the first time, Avant are in the numbers advantage.
Yeah, beautiful stuff from Avant, well, from Fisho guy, really to kick things off there. Although it looks like we've got a setup here from Darksided to push from this south-hand side. Cutie's got his thermite charges in pocket, and he's going to start opening up into Theatre. It's going to grant them an avenue to the bomb site and potentially a plant.
No Bandit on mute to deny, no Maestro in position to deny, but Flossy has a very good weapon for these close-range encounters. Not a great angle, though, with Cutie on the window. It's too difficult for Flossy to contest. Drones coming out now, clearing out Theatre, seeing it's completely free. And Luna will have to do some damage from inside of the penthouse, while the rest of Avant do take these flanks.
Yeah, well, Shaq's about to peek out into Fisho guy, but Shaq's going to win that duel as Specker's going to find Copper on the other side of the map. Luna is, however, going to trade back Ippy style as the plant still not being attempted here from Darksided. As it is just a 2-on-3, that man advantage has not lasted long, Dev.
There are still smokes on Shaq, but he's going to expose himself in order to deploy them, and even if he does so, it's not a very long distance for any defender to simply storm through them. If he does use his utility, could prevent Luna from pushing forward, but still a difficult position for Darksided. Specker really has to come and help out. Looks like he's wanting to push through VIP. Now the smokes start to be deployed, but that's a terrible smoke. Does it really cover the angles at all? Luna just spraying, deciding to reload now that she's stunned. And Shaq pushing all the way up, picking up his drone instead of putting out the diffuser. Stunning one and stunning his teammate. Cutie pre-firing while stun takes down Shaq. A bit of a blunder, but the thermite cleans it up nonetheless.
That was a very stop and start attack there from Darksided, wasn't it? They'd like push up, they'd take ground, then they'd pause, then they'd push up, take ground, and then pause while they were droning. Of course, it wasn't fluid. It was very stop and start, wasn't it? But you know, you can't really take anything away from the effectiveness.
No, it did work out eventually, Cutie. Yes, it did work out eventually, but I gotta say it was a bit sloppy. I'm not quite sure what the go was with Shaq's Capital bolts, those smoke canisters, micro smokes. Wasn't really a great land there.
Luna definitely could have denied him a lot earlier if she was, if she held that angle, but she decided to peek that other angle instead.
In the end, it did end up Darksided taking the win. Well, really struggling as they take the 4th bomb site on the map. We've been around the world so far and still no wins on the board for Avant.
Yeah, they've been tossing all their ideas out and nothing's yet to stick. So they, go for their 4th time's the charm. Dev, how are we feeling about that one?
I don't know, it's looking a bit rough for them at the moment. Maybe these roamers can find 1 or 2 kills, but never really a solid enough job. And eventually Darksided, while they do take their time, they do eventually push in through.
So this map last night against Fnatic, Avant versus Fnatic, right? What side did Avant start on? They went down 4-2, right? That on their defense or on their attack?
They were just attacking at the time. So perhaps it's mostly attacker-sided. Perhaps they're just struggling on their defense, but surely they can at least rack up a couple.
Yeah, well, so far it hasn't been a great showing from the Avant lads. I want to call them the boys in blue. Does that count?
Yeah, as long as you're not trying to bleed blue, I think that's perfectly fine. Avant now on this defense still. Once again, Darksided playing fairly slowly but methodically. So roam up top floor, a little bit all over the place. Once again, this mute being utilized. I'm a big advocate for mute, but I don't know how effective it's been so far. Darksided always seem to take out those jammers and get their drones in places with relative ease.
It seems like they're trying to fake roam, but no one's they're not taking the bait Darksided at all, and they're just being very efficient in clearing out all the utility and not really being punished for having to do so.
A lot of these solo pushes as well.
Yeah.
Lossy roaming downstairs. He's unlikely to be caught as of yet, but he will have to find some way he can have an impact on this round.
So I was just going to say, it really seemed like Ippy was just face-checking into theatre, wasn't he? It wasn't like there was a drone or anything.
Always a risk. Sometimes those risks don't really make a difference, but you've got to treat it as if they are. Flossie eventually is found by Shaq on that roam, likely trying to come up on those staircases. Luna in a good position as well, but Ippy is looking for her through the floor, lands a lot of damage. Cutie spots her on her rotation, but Copper finds Ippy on this flank. A great job. There's 2 of them now getting pushed out. Now into Hookah. Vicious coming to assist, going to heal up. No doubt his teammate of Copper, who's taking a significant amount of damage. Luna as well would certainly benefit from one, but Vicious is fresh out of stims.
Yeah, and here we go. Spec up is very close to the bomb site right now. It's going to have to fall on Luna to deny it. Normally, to deny the plant behind the blue bar, it has to be done from the courtyard. But how safe is that going to be here for Avant?
Well, I'm not sure if Shaq actually spotted Luna inside of the blue bar, but that's an essential position that you really must gain intel on.
Now she's been spotted.
Finally spotted. Is this just going to be a face check for Specker? We know he likes to peek these angles. Just look at the way he's bobbing up and down, left and right. But is that going to really make the difference here? Luna is low on HP. Specker might not have to put that many bullets into her, and he does just enough. Copper also taking one down. No Vicious jumping into the fray. 2 players left on the attack, but no. Shaq finds one, and Specker just crouches straight into his fire. A mistake perhaps from both of the players. It's just Shaq now in a 1 versus 2. Copper's low. Oh, but that's not Copper. Where is Copper? There he is, Shaq. That's not a hologram. Takes off his face. And finally, Avant have won a defense.
Oh, so several things, Dev. I suppose with the crouch peeking, kind of like angle peeking that Specker does, it does look a bit off. But the thing is, right, is he's trying to bait out shots from his opponents. It's much better than just running in and committing to it, isn't it? And then we saw, yeah, and then we saw him crouch into Shaq's bullets. That's probably not what lost him the round, but you'd have to say it has to contribute to it.
I don't know if this is fair to say, but it did look a little bit like Specker in that scenario was just so focused on the peaks that he just didn't really take into account that there was a player behind him already on that angle. He just peeked directly into it. Honestly, I can't blame Shaq for that team kill. he was spraying down a player, he had a position, he took one down, and then just kept pre-firing, as you do, and Specker peeked directly into it.
Well, it looks like fourth time is the charm for Avant as they do finally put up their first round. It's a round that they also went down early on as well. I think every round except for that one where we saw Fisho find the early pick, they've had the first pick against them, haven't they?
That's right, but now Fisho guy, unlikely to make the same mistake he did previously. Also, now that we've had a couple of attacks, Avant can start to read into the location and just the general push from Avant, where they start, where they clear, how they drone. And with that, they can also change where they play their utility. As you can see, Vicious assisting Fisho and Copper as well. I think that this knowledge from those previous rounds is going to benefit Avant, and they could potentially take this one.
Yeah, well, are they going to change it up at all? So, see the early vanilla cameras taken out, as you do. Shaq's going to enter this time from Sunrise. I think this is different from last time, isn't it? Last time, him in style pushed in from master bedroom, I believe. Yeah.
Shaq being live droned as well. Does see shots raining down from Flossie, but Flossie has a very strong anchored position.
Attackers have located a bomb.
And a camera as well to boot. Not likely Shaq can deal much damage from this position. He should take out that camera through the wall if he can though, but decides better of it. Specker going so aggressive. Finds the Jaeger and takes him out. Look at this, a rush into the bomb site. 50 seconds in, but Vicious, a wallbang Specker as well, tricked by those hologram devices. Copper looking to get a refrag, but is it enough? Where is Specker? He's got the shotgun, it's not enough. Specker gets a 3k for the round. Vicious, the last man standing, he needs to ace clutch. I don't like his chances.
Yeah, Darkside is just absolutely barreling into the bomb site, and suddenly it's all up to Vicious. 1-on-4, and Specker, surely going to land the shots? No, rather keeping his head, and Ippy style through the wall is going to finish it off. I like that from Darksider. That was a very well thought out strategy, and you know, it led into the whole meta of they were expecting Avant to be worried about the opposite side of the map, which they were, and they just weren't ready for the aggressive push that just worked out so well.
So my prediction of how Avant could read into the push and then counter everything Darksider was doing, well, that was what Avant tried to do, and then Darksider just did something completely different. A great read from Darksider, droning out the site, deciding how they want to push and whether they want to bypass the majority of the defense from Avant, and it worked out flawlessly for them.
Yeah, it was a bit strange that Avant just seemed to not be ready for it, right? Like, I suppose they had no intel on that side of the map. The vanilla camera was taken out nice and early on, but still, like, always be ready for anything. It seems like that's been Avant's downfall so far in this map, hasn't it? They just haven't been ready for any of the plays that are coming out from Darksider.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. Avant's struggling at the moment. Not sure whether they're going to find some redemption in this last round before they head on to their attacks, but they certainly need to hope they can do some better on their attacks. On the flip side, Darksider really, it's great to see them stepping up because they didn't have a great play day just yesterday. Lost out to Oddity and then drew against Oddity. I think a lot less than people were hoping for out of the Darksider team this season. So if they can assure themselves a victory over Avant, that's certainly something to be proud of. Get some much-needed points onto the board as well.
Well, looks like Flossie was thinking about being aggressive, but they have Cutie's drone there. I think they're aware that that's a possibility, and Flossie's just going to barricade it back up. He doesn't want to just throw his life away meaninglessly.
It's this play from Avant, playing very singularly a lot of the time, roaming spaciously, waiting and basing for the attackers to come to them into their waiting arms where they would ideally have the advantage. Something that's not been working because Darksider haven't been falling for it. Either they've been pushing off the defenders by droning them out and the Avant players haven't had any teammates to help them, or Darksider have just gone straight for bomb site. Now Fisher guy, look, this is so risky and so unnecessary so early in the round.
For me, it just feels like, you know, Darksider really know how Avant are playing and are countering. Like, you might be right, this could be a really good counter strategy, or a whole counter map, I suppose, from Darksider. Seems like whatever Avant are trying is just not working out for them, and Darkside are changing it up every time. In fact, their roamers have already pushed back, have been pushed back without much of an effort from Darkside at all.
Avant deciding that they want to stay alive on this roam, but the issue is a lot of the time when the final execute comes through, Avant don't have the numbers that they need. Fisher trying to make Darkside feel uncomfortable by pretending, at least feigning aggression, but I don't think Darkside are looking uncomfortable at all.
Yeah, well, it's because they're already ahead. Like, you know, no one's in a position to be run out on, so it's nothing to worry about.
Now control over VIP solidified. Cutie no doubt going to come through and open up this wall. That's the next step in the Darkside attack, and as that angle pops open, so does an avenue into the bomb side. Jack Daddy also deciding it's time to go and put pressure on the aquarium side. He's got a play to contend with in Luna.
Oh.
Luna, almost a beautiful shot. Jack Daddy, no doubt cautious of this flank, which we would expect from Avant, but I don't believe there's anyone there for it just yet. Oh, style! Right around the corner from 2 players. Does trap Fisher guy in a corner, but
Specker and Shaka in support here. Ooh, and we're going to see Ibistyle go down to Copper as he's managed to get the flank on. And this whole, like, focus...
Oh, Luna!
Is that a C4?
She is traded back, though, after that C4 fails to kill that player. Specker, though, running low on bullets, but he does have enough to finish off Fisher guy, who was lit up. Copper, though, on the flank, finds one. Flossie as well to help out, as Cutie takes down Vicious. Just 2 players left on this attack. Specker still downstairs. Where's he going to push from at the moment? He's taken down by Copper, who's had a fantastic round. Specker, the last man remaining. No time whatsoever. 0 seconds on the clock. He can find one, but he can't find both. And Avant successfully defend Hookah, finally on their 3rd try.
Yeah, well, great stuff from Avant, as I believe that's a mirrored score from yesterday that they had against Fnatic as well, wasn't it? A 4-2?
Yeah, I believe so. And, I mean, they've got to be happy with that. I think that they're comfortable with this attacking side, perhaps more than their defense. I like the fact that they banned out that Jackal. It's really what allowed Copper to do what he did on that last round. You can see the idea behind the Avant strategy and the Avant hold, if you can really call it that, when it's really just about the entire map control and exploiting weaknesses in the attack. And getting rid of the Jackal is a great way to allow that playstyle to become more viable.
Yeah, and the fact that like it was 3 members of Darkside who was zoning in on the 1 roamer stuck over in Sunrise Bar really allowed that flank to come off and be successful, because they were just zoning in on him and not focused on any other avenues.
That's one of the benefits of having that roam where the players are actually further away from each other. And it's really typical that we say all about reef frags, play together, make sure you get that second player getting that kill. But for the defense, sometimes there's a viable strategy to be had in having your roamers play a little bit further away from each other, so that one can be a distraction and then you can get your teammate to pick up some easy kills. It's all about the communication and that chemistry, that team play that really makes a difference in those scenarios. Nonetheless, Darkside now on their defense.
Yeah, it looks like it's been attacker-sided so far in the Pro League, and we're going to see that trend continue at Darkside. Are going to be able to bring it back here. Well, they are ahead, but like bring back the trend, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I get you. I mean, it's really about staying ahead here, because perhaps 4-2 is not enough out of the first half. Perhaps they needed to win more of their attacks. Perhaps they didn't. They needed to not let Avant steal away a Hookah defense. Nonetheless, looks like a fairly solid hold for Darkside. Lots of very strong anchor positions and a lot of preparation.
They're still setting up, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think that's fine. On the other hand, though, Fisher guy droned in by his teammate. He has the Dokkaebi logic bomb to call as needed. Copper spots out Jack Daddy, but Jack Daddy seems to be very, very aware of his presence.
See, that's the difference, isn't it? Like, Fisher guy was running around not paying attention, whereas Jack Daddy, he's already holding an angle, even though there's been no real sign that there might be a push from that angle.
The Avant roam was all about Avant having that map control and just playing around like it's theirs. And unfortunately, sometimes that kind of assumption was wrong. But when it was right, Copper did some damage. After this attack, though, that logic bomb, just the first one running out. Not really sure if there's much capitalization of that. But oh, a great job to take out that deployable shield. Cutie's in a very tough position. Shaq Puts out a smoke to prevent Fisher Guy from pushing too aggressively. Ippy Style at the bookshelf, struggling. Fisher Guy tempting fate, inhaling a bit of that toxic gas. He just doesn't mind at all. Oh, peek from Jack Dad. Fisher Guy on the floor.
Yeah, that's supported by that Maestro camera, but Copper is going to trade one back in Ippy Style, but it looks like Jack Daddy was thinking about getting aggressive. In fact, it's going to be Specker who will finding Copper. Where was he? All the way outside, wasn't he, or in the hallway?
I believe he peeked from Hall of Fame onto the player at bookshelf.
Oh, yep.
But Specker still playing aggressive, no doubt fueled by the intel on these Valkyrie cameras, which now Ippy Style can just be dedicated to watching for his teammates. And Shaq's still also very aggressive near the wardrobe inside of Penthouse. Jack Daddy wants to attempt this flank. We saw how well Darkside were watching their flanks in the early rounds on these staircases when attacking the top floor, but will we see the same from Avant? I don't think there's anyone there.
Yeah, it looks like it's really stalled out Avant, hasn't it? They have no idea where they can go and where they can't, and I think Flossie, he might be a bit sandwiched here. Wasn't there someone that was in VIP? Yeah. Unless they were in the corner inside bedroom. Yeah, in the corner inside bedroom. Okay.
Yeah, they're at the wardrobe, but Shaq still has that rotation hole, and now Specker can peek into the hallway and into VIP from this angle. What an angle. Shaq finally spotted out and taken down, but Specker still dealing damage and finally taking one down as well. Just one left, Flossie, but he's taken down eventually by Cutie. Darkside win their first defense.
Oh, it's a nice little sweat hole there from Cutie. Just a few bullets, and he can just pre-fire that for days with the massive mag of the Elder. And great stuff there from Darkside, wasn't it? We said it's been so difficult for the defenders, but no, they really stood up there and shut down any of the Avant pressure.
Well, it did take 4 rounds for Avant to win a defense. Darkside to get it, a hole in 1. They're going to have to move on to their secondary bomb site, the one that Avant did struggle with for 2 rounds, Hookah Billiards Room. The cap can being teased by Specker. That's going to be a 6-pick onto the Pulse, which we've seen quite a lot of on Hookah, roaming down below, ready to C4 up if you still have control of the office and of the blue bar in the late rounds. Great way to stall out that main push that we see primarily come from Aquarium.
The way you want to play that, right, is you want to play like downstairs, or at least have the ability to rotate downstairs late. Like if they take downstairs and you manage to get a few picks on their players upstairs as well, those players downstairs are going to have to rotate up, and that's when you're given that freedom down below.
Yeah, for sure. And also, if those players downstairs on the attacking side are so concentrated on using holes through the floor or what have you, that's a great opportunity to then flank onto them, especially if you have some intel, lesion mines or Valkyrie cameras down below. Certainly helps out a lot. Jack Daddy preparing to counter that default plant spot, putting a goo mine in the way. Smart read. That said, a well-placed Thatcher grenade could just clear out all the utility in the area.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
And looks like it's going to be the Deagle hole in the corner here. No full rotate, just a small angle.
Well, that's a huge amount of Deagle ammo, and Cutie could have been helping that out. Look at that, that's 3 magazines. My goodness.
Wonder if Cutie shot that goo mine. Surely not.
I don't think so, but goo mines can actually fall through the floor. Copper, is that just a spray? Nonetheless, Darkside also find a kill. I think that was just a spray downstairs to the kitchen window. Specker's off the board and the C4 that goes with it, but Avant making some strides. They've lost 1 player, but it's only an Ash. Fisher Guy hasn't had the greatest game so far. There's still a lot of utility that overlap with that Zofia nonetheless.
Yeah, Ippy Style went down early on there as well. So it is the man advantage into Avant's hand after that early pick and then the trade back. So C4s wise though, we've still got Cutie and we've still got Shaq or Darksided. See if they manage to rotate down later. They just don't have the info that Specker would have had in that pulse scanner.
And Specker and Ippy Style can be sitting on those cameras there for Shaq to help him out a little bit on these on this whole. Jack Daddy's the one who's below at the moment, and he doesn't even have a C4. He's going to have to rely on these flanks up the staircases to deal damage.
Yeah, one of the Jack Daddy's strengths, in my opinion, is his ability to just like know when to push and when to fall back, and he's probably one of the best players to have downstairs. In fact, he's trying to get a goo mine up through the floor. I wonder how or where these attackers are going to be of his position there.
recovered the
Copper
diffuser.
trying to deal with Cutie behind the bar. Luna's in a great position to deal damage onto him. C4 does a bit of damage onto Copper, and now Cutie realizes he's being pushed from multiple angles. That camera spotting out Luna as well, and as soon as Luna tries to walk through, Jack Daddy has the angle from below. Perfect play, and Cutie as well. Darksider coming back from the numbers deficit. Both players going down. Shaq jumping into it as well with one onto Vicious. Just Flossie left. And this smoke will dissipate shortly, leaving him no cover from the aquarium. Cutie takes him down. Avant really falling apart with Darksider heading onto match point.
Yeah, it was a great start from Avant. They did the early stuff nicely, but then Jack Daddy down below, he just ruined them as they tried to push on into aquarium. Like, they just weren't aware of the possibility of him being below, and then the fact that they decided to force out aquarium just saw all their players die. Like, it was... They tried to use their utility, but I feel like they didn't capitalize off their utility enough. They waited till after utility advantage had gone and then pushed.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, as for my prediction, I'm looking a bit silly now with me saying that I think Avant's going to do well here. Darksider are just so prepared for the Avant playstyle. Fisher guy teasing out the blitz, but it's not sticking around. There is a Valkyrie instead of that pulse as we go downstairs. Valkyrie, I certainly think, is the right choice in this scenario. Darksider only have to scrape away one more defense round. Take the W here, and even if Avant can claw back, the best they can achieve is a draw.
Yeah, Darksider definitely looking strong in their defense and looking strong here on Coastline, which, you know, is a surprising thing is how strong Avant were on Coastline last night, isn't it? It was a 6-6 draw against Fnatic.
Yeah, and I mean, same map here, but nowhere near the same result so far.
Well, what do you think Avant have to do here? What's their overall issue? Is it that they have been counter-stratted down?
I think sometimes their style of play, just they need to mix it up. They can't always hammer away this one style of play, because once a team reads into that, it's well, I think there's not so much they can do. They've been read. They're going to be countered. So picking apart this defense piece by piece is the only way to really make this happen. Just take the top floor, open up the floor, take out these players on site, and I don't think that Avant are too focused on that at the moment. Looks like they're just scouting around the bomb site, looking for a hole in the Darksider defense to exploit, and I don't think that kind of style of attack is what they need to do right now.
Yeah, really, like, my first thought was, are they going for a rush to try and snake around here, but, you know, they just opened up a lot of angles nice and early on, but they haven't really tried to gain any meaningful map control off it. But as I say that, Flossie's made his way in above.
Yeah, and opening up the floor now as well. Specker spotted out on that drone. Flossie about to open a beautiful angle above Cutie, but Cutie very wary of it. Flossie just opening up all these angles, likely to peek them later. Making the defenders on side a little bit uncomfortable, and Copper is making them even more uncomfortable with Shaq going down. That's the Maestro. Great weapon and a great piece of utility to boot. Jack Daddy finds one though. Vicious, another kill onto Specker. Defense struggling, but they still have control of the lobby with a player behind that desk, and also one on the roam, and Jack Dad here in the blue bar. Great way to flank into kitchen if necessary.
Yeah, it looks like they've only got the one player on site. It'd be Style gone for the late flank as well. So just Cutie, the lone player to try and defend, but it'd be Style. Oh, he has seen, I believe that was Fisho there, jumping outside, getting ready to go for the plant, but oh, he's in a power play position now, it'd be Style.
And Jack Daddy still dealing damage here as he takes the Fisher guy down.
Oh.
Ippy Style on this run out, doesn't run into a Claymore. How does he get the second one? Oh, can he find a third? No, Vicious finally takes him down. Ippy Style unable to walk into that Claymore. Now Vicious in a struggling position. Potentially a camera spotting him out, and that's exactly what there is. Jack Dad, that was a bit of a potato, but that's the final round for Darksider. That's a good half. A very dominant one for Darksider as they close it out 7 rounds to 2.
Yeah, beautiful stuff there from Darksider. They really brought the pain. Only 2 rounds for Avant, who just yesterday, you know, performed on this map versus Fnatic. It's It's really not what we're expecting and not what past performances have shown. Take a look at these kills here. 12 for Specker, 10 for Copper. Rough game for Fisho, just the one. Flossie just 2. Luna just 2. Rough game pretty much across the board, I suppose, for a lot of those Avant guys.
Really, for Avant, it was just a lot of inability to frag, which is their specialty a lot of the time. They are typically very strong roamers, very strong entries, particularly on the roam. I was a bit disappointed on that defense. And for